Good stuff. Okay. Sounds good. We'll start with a cross-legged position. And we were just checking in about, hi Barbara, checking in about the how the Zoom classes are working and the comforts of home, and also having the space and finding a wall as we continue to explore and work with our poses and our props. So just find your seat and also your breath. And let the senses draw inward. And encourage this in the eyes as well by lowering the eyelids over the eyes 2/3 of the way. Go in a direction that's unexpected. Or maybe even unwanted, you know, there may be a reaction in our bodies and in our emotions, and we can just cultivate this equanimity, the ability to observe without reacting and just notice. Give it plenty of space and plenty of breath. And begin moving with your breath. As you inhale, bring the chin towards the chest. And as you exhale, rock on the pelvis and bring the chest forward. Nice. And just lightly clasping the hands around the knees. Inhaling as you come back, exhaling forward. So thanks for being creative as the Y works to streamline its systems and move from Group X Pro to the virtual site. And just notice and breathe into your body. Inhaling, drawing center of the torso back, that area just below the rib cage, above the navel. And same area coming forward on exhalation. And next time you're back, just pause with the spine curling. And then come forward and just stretch the legs out. And rock toes towards center and then out, let them just pop out. And we're going to cross the legs again, and this time just notice and cross a different way. You'll be able to tell, most likely. One knee is going to be up higher, or the ankle bone is going to feel different. And let's stretch side to side. Left hand out to the left, lift the right arm. Just noticing the feeling of your body, and second side, and how it is responding to today's stimulus, the sunshine, the coolness, the air quality. It is pretty still today, not a lot of wind. We've had might have been a wind lately, but now we're more still. And as you stretch side to side, press the same side that you're stretching, press that hip down, that hip bone. And one more time each side. So really just working with a sense of ease and acceptance. And legs wide again and rock. And I'm gonna start right in child's pose. So coming back on your sticky mat, if you'd like a little blanket under the knees, just for a little extra comfort. Knees a little wide and big toes together, and just sit back on the heels. And then just come forward into child's pose, forehead down. Continue to breathe and just let your body settle, your breath come and go. And just watch 3 more breaths go by. And then reach your arms forward. We're going to come into downward facing dog pose next. You hear my phone, I just want to make sure it's not Jamie. Okay. Downward facing dog pose next. So just taking the hands forward, take the feet and shins parallel and the pinkies towards the outer edge of the sticky mat. And inhale, lift up. So everything we do as we practice will be deliberate and with ease. Just lifting up the heels. Just let your chin release and bobble. Top of the head, reach for the floor. And just notice as you shift positions, the change in the breath, depth, quality as well. And slowly lower the heels towards the floor. And you might inch the balls of the feet forward and really stretch the backs of the calves, press heels down. And let's just move slightly on inhalation, lifting heels. On exhalation, lowering heels. On inhalation, lifting up on the balls of the feet, lift the heels up, shake the head out. And exhale, lower the heels. And one more. Inhale, lift up onto the balls. And exhale, lower heels. And release. Come back to child's pose. This time thighs right underneath the rib cage. Palms alongside the wrists. Turn it up. And lengthen your spine, reach out again, and come up to hands and knees. And we'll take a kneeling position facing the camera, just right on your blanket still. And just take the left leg out to the left. So just opening the inner thigh. So working with just a little lunge into that bent knee and the knee right above the ankle, hands on hips. And with this external rotation, really anchoring the outer hip back towards the sacrum and deliberately bringing the head of the femur right deep into the hip joint. And then we can bring the left hand just down, take a little side bend with the left hand to the inside of the left thigh or knee. And come on up and back through center, rock a little. And then the second side, right foot out to the right. Yeah, and just easy does it. Inhaling, bending that right knee, exhaling, coming up. And pause and just take a little, so that shin right beneath the knee and left hand, left hip, and just take a little side lengthening. Chin right in line with the breastbone. A few deeper breaths. And come up and re-square. And let's take the first side again. So just taking left foot out to the left. And breathe and come into a side lunge. Perhaps a little more distance between the extended knee and the foot of the left leg, and then just sink in. So you're going to feel a deep drawing in of the right hip as well. And just stretch the arms out. Breathe. So we're working to get the hips level. Turn the palms up and squeeze like you're squeezing a ball. And gaze up. And arms down and press the left leg. And come back through center. Let's rock a little side to side. And second side. Little deeper lunge. So it's like a warm up for warrior two, you know, when we stand and take that deep right angle would be the full pose. And that right hip just really drawing down. And extend the arms again. Breathe. In through the nose, out through the mouth. And even as you're lunging, this right hip is, or the left hip is drawing in, kind of hugging in towards the midline. And palms up and squeeze, like you're squeezing a ball. Gaze up. And arms float down and knees together. Good. And just make some circles. And circle the other way. Just dipping the hips down. You're stirring the pot. So we'll connect some breath with movement and start getting some back bending. So back to your kneeling position, like we took child's pose. Curl the toes under. We're just gonna exhale and bring the hips back, forehead down. You can watch once. You're just gonna lead with the back of the heart. Turn the palms open and lift the arms up. A little bit of a back bend, press the hips forward. And exhale. Hips towards heels, palms turned up alongside ankles. And curl up, press the hips forward, unfurl the arms, the shoulders, stretch up. Breathe in, gaze up, and exhale, sit back. Forehead down, ribs contacting thighs, and continue. Just inhale, roll up, coming through more of a camel shape, and exhale. Spread the space between the ribs and the back. And curl last time. And stretch and reach. And exhale. And just tuck the tops of the feet and enjoy a few more breaths in child's pose. And reach your arms out long again. And lift your hips up again. And roll your blanket up. As you lift the knees and come up onto the balls of the feet and lift the heels. Make a little roll with your blanket. Fingertips on blanket, heels high. Lift your sit bones. Spread your toes out. Breathe in, breathe out, lower the heels, rock back. Lift the toes and breathe in, lift up. So just rocking forward and back on the feet. Waking the ankles up, the toes. Just moving at your own breath rhythm. And come back to center over the arches of the feet. Bring the hands to the hips. Come up flat back. Chin tucked. And press the feet, curl the tailbone, and come up to standing. Good. And remove the blanket. If you have a wall, and you can bring the long edge of your mat against the wall, please do. If you don't worry about it. It just can help with alignment. And so we'll just take the feet wide. And if you can put a block in between your left foot and the wall, changing this against my feet. There we go. And the right foot is just a couple inches in front of your wall. And then bend your left knee. So we're recreating that shape we had on our knees. And you can see your image. You can notice if your shin is perpendicular to your ankle. And then the wall is helpful just for the alignment of the left thigh. So you can see if the left thigh is parallel with the wall. So often I'll focus on the shoulders in this pose, but today we're focusing on the hips. So the left and the right, a hip groin crease where the thigh comes in contact and articulates with the pelvis, should be in the same level, distant from the floor. So keeping the arms there, or you might lift them up, focusing your attention on your hips and the alignment of your left thigh and the lift in the arches. So that generally translates to more attention to the outer edges of the feet. A couple more breaths and just turning the head to look down the left arm. And extend, and let's move right into triangle pose. So you'll shift the hips, the block to the outer edge of that left foot. So fingertips to block. Right arm extended. Maybe a little deeper expression of triangle than we often do. Just do your best with that. You can bend the left knee a little bit. Keep the right hip hugging towards the midline. So the outer connective tissue of the leg is actively engaged in hugging that leg bone towards this midline. This part is all hugging in towards the central portion of the pelvis. And bend the left knee. Good, and just easy does it, come back up, there you go. And parallel your feet. We'll just take the feet together between sides, heel toe, heel toe. Shake the legs out a little. And take your block to the second side. That space between right foot and wall, left foot turned in. And diving right into the leg position. Right shin in line with right ankle. And hands on hips and hugging this left hip in and right pelvic bone equidistant from the floor. So really focusing on that external rotation. Check your right thigh, that it's in line with the wall, parallel, and arms up. Breathe. Yeah, just nice, calm breath. The breath is your guide. If the breath becomes labored or You start holding it, then come up out of the pose, and we'll tilt the hips, triangle pose, fingertips to block, left arm extends. Comfortable neck, so you gaze down towards the right foot and then up towards the fingers. Down and up. Good, couple more breaths, just chin over breastbone neutral. And bend that right knee. Come back up, you can bring your block with you. Parallel your feet and heel toe the feet together. And bend your knees, come up onto the toes. So we're going to work with tree pose next. And if you can, turn with your left foot close to the wall. So you can kind of imagine that I have a wall here. And you're just going to bend the right knee, and if you can, bring that right foot well above the knee. So the wall's right there. You can push off the wall with the left hand to invite the left hip to draw in. So a little isometric pressure through left hand to draw left hip towards the center line. And the right foot presses against the left thigh. And the left thigh presses against the right foot. Pretty common to lose your balance and have to readjust and come back. And maybe using that right hand at the ankle to anchor the right foot into the thigh. Or perhaps you'll be able to take the hands away and put them into prayer pose. Very strong standing leg. 3 or 4 breaths. Just find a place to focus your gaze, soft and downward. And release, just step out and rock hips side to side. And turn for the second side, so your right foot now is right against the, right near the wall, right hand at the wall, and lift your left foot up, well above the knee, and place it deep into the flesh of the inner thigh. So that wall again helps remind the standing leg hip to draw in. And you can use that left hand on the ankle, left knee pressing down and also opening that hip. So to your comfort level, you don't want to pinch or go into burning sensations or pain. So if you get towards that edge, just back off and track your breath. Steady like a tree. Trees have their little micro movements. I've been noticing how many of the trees Even the deciduous trees still have a lot of leaves on them. They're brown and crinkly, but there's still lots of trees with leaves, oaks up in the woodlands, or some of their seed pods. You know, they're just holding on still. And just take a step off of your sticky mat and just take a standing twist, just for fun. So just let the arms sway and come up onto the ball of the non-weight bearing foot. We will use the wall again for half moon pose, the wall and the block. So come back through center. Something kind of reassuring about just methodically, slowly moving through the form, hatha yoga forms. So feet wide apart again. First side again. So left foot turned out 90 and block. You can even put it, class I went to yesterday, we practiced coming into half moon pose without looking at the block. Kind of an interesting notion. So if you put it out in front of your foot a little ways, and also if you use your camera, maybe you too can reach for the block without looking down. So we can come into the side angle and right hand, right hip. You just push off with that right foot and reach out for your block. And, oh, yep, and then push and lift. So that with the wall right there, you can bring your left hip to contact the wall. And just find your steady posture before you try to balance. Then you can use that opposite arm to, bringing the hips away from the wall, but then the lifted heel against the wall. So just touching with the heel, the rest of the body away from the wall. And perhaps you can even take that foot away from the wall for a couple breaths or seconds. And you can always lean back into it and just explore, what does it feel like to gaze up towards my lifted hand? And just have fun with the wall there to support you. A couple more breaths. And then the left knee, big step back. And just easing back through triangle pose. Wall's right there. You can even press your head into the wall. Give yourself an adjustment of lengthening the back of the head away from the shoulders. And then that left knee to come up. Easy does it, nice and slow. Parallel your feet. I personally like kind of leaning into the wall, so hips into the wall, shoulders into the wall. After this sequence, we'll do our wall sit that we introduced on, I think it was Friday. So side angle pose, blocking between right foot and wall. Left hand, left hip. And then you can put your block out there. And as you're ready, so taking yourself slightly away from the wall, bring the left foot in and reach out and come up to half moon position. And same opportunities here, taking the hips away from the wall, That left heel can still press lightly into the wall. Perhaps taking the left heel away from the wall and practicing balancing. Or letting yourself be fully supported and gaze up towards a lifted hand, back of the head to the wall. Just practicing different variations. Couple more breaths. And then the right knee, come on back through triangle legs. And bend right knee some more to come up and parallel your feet. And bring the feet together, shake the legs. And put your block down and just roll the shoulders. And feet still, they don't have to be near the wall, but legs wide apart. We're going to take a forward fold with legs wide. So actually it works a little better. Come forward on your mat, slide the hands down the legs towards the ankles, and tuck your chin towards your chest. I'll just turn sideways so you can see that. And just start with the hands out away from the legs. Breathe in and out. And then slowly walk the hands back towards the legs. And you can flex the wrists, heels of the hands close towards the heels in terms of in line with the heels. You can work with straight elbows for starters. Might be intense in the wrists. Even turning the hands back, so fingers are pointing back between the legs, between the feet. And explore, have fun, bend the elbows, bring the crown towards the floor. Breathe in and out. And walk the hands away from the feet again. Spread your fingers again. And heel toe your feet together again. So you can just bend the knees like you're sitting in a chair. Bring the elbows to the tops of the knees. And press the feet to come up. So in the Iyengar yoga tradition, which I've studied quite a bit, they really emphasize the therapeutic benefits of headstand and shoulder stand. And headstand is considered the king, and shoulder stand is the queen of the postures. So headstand is hugely beneficial, both in terms of building energy and also calming the mind and calming anxiety, but also boosting you up if you are feeling low energy. So it has a lot of benefits depending on where on the head you put pressure. So it's encouraging you to explore your skull a little bit. And bring your fingertips, just take a comfortable kneeling position on the floor. And then just take the fingertips starting at the hairline. Just palpate your skull. Usually there's kind of even an apex that goes all the way back. And there's just even a high point. So that high point, if you press into that, you might notice that your eyebrows lift. And that's the place in headstand, if you are going to put some pressure on your head, that will help elevate your mood. So if you're feeling kind of low energy, feeling a little down, blue from any number of things, seasonal affect or the ongoing pandemic or whatever it is you might be feeling blue about, you can just put some pressure right here. And vice versa, if you're feeling anxious, just walk the fingertips forward and more towards like that soft spot where babies, you know, they have a soft spot on their head. That's more the place you want to put attention in headstand when you want to calm yourself down. You might notice by pressing that, it's like, oh yeah, this makes me kind of want to go to sleep. And my eyelids drop and my eyebrows drop and my jaw drops. So you can play with that a little. But I'm going to show you how to come up and put some pressure on your head through a position called hare. So if you come into this child's pose and you reach forward with your hairline, and you can just lift right up onto the crown of your head and interlace the fingers behind the back. So here I can practice coming forward and back. Just want to make sure the back of your neck is not compressing. And you can lift the arms. If you have like a whiplash injury or degenerative disc disease in the cervical spine, this may be contraindicated. And especially if you have any pain, you don't want to do this. And instead, I can show you an alternative. So just exploring hair position. I'll show that again. Just from the kneeling position, reach forward with the hairline, and then just roll right up onto the top of your head. And lift the arms. And if you're not putting pressure on your head, you can come right down to child's pose when you're done. If you're used to practicing headstand and want to come all the way up, you can do that. If you don't want to put pressure on your head, you can practice inverting this way by making a triangle with the forearms and pressing the outer wrist down and just lifting up and letting the crown reach towards the floor. Just bobble the head a little. And everybody resting down in either child's or extended child's. And so I encourage you to explore that in your home practice, putting weight on your head, explore getting the back of the neck to lengthen. And we'll continue working with that. Oh, we didn't do our wall sit. Let's go ahead and do our wall sit now, and then we will come back on our backs for the last bit of class. So back up to standing, lengthen your spine, and sacrum right in touch with the wall. Feet about hip width apart, outer edges parallel, back of the shoulders contacting the wall. You can take mountain pose through the arms. Externally rotate the upper arms. Press your sacrum and your lumbar towards the wall. And breathe. Press into your feet so the thighs are charged a little, but not overly firing. It's more about stabilizing the pelvis than strengthening the thighs. And then just rest the hands, palms up, tops of thighs. Chin above breastbone, that place in your skull that you were just touching to the floor, just rise up with that area up towards the ceiling. And breathe into your belly. And we'll just stay here for another minute or so. Just like the eye of the storm, we can just cultivate a watchful, observant attitude. No big deal, whatever's happening. Just allowing our mind to be engaged with curiosity. Curiosity about our own existence here. Another 30 seconds or so. And welcome your breath as it comes a little more deeply. And just slowly inch your hips up the wall, stretch the legs. And let's just fold forward, ribs in contact with thighs, hips in contact with the wall, chin towards chest. And slowly take yourself away from the wall and come onto your back. So if you had a block, have your block handy. We're going to take a supported bridge pose. So a nice blanket for your spine, your full sacrum, tailbone, and go ahead and rock on your spine. Just lift the legs, put the hands under the knees. Kick heels towards the earth. And slowly come back and just roll down onto your back, one vertebra at a time. And stretch the arms back. Just take hold of the elbows, whichever way is easy. Exhale your breath fully. Back of the neck long, back of the head extending up away from the shoulders. And then with your block, we're just going to press the feet and lift the hips up and put the block up underneath your sacrum. And just lift the chest and tuck your shoulders up underneath your back. Palms turned open. Chin above breastbone. Comfortable head. And welcome your breath, enjoy your breath. If you wish, you can bring the right knee in towards the chest and then extend the right leg skyward. And perhaps if you have good stability for your block, you can take the left one up as well. Reaching up through the heels, grabbing across the balls of the feet. Breath in, breath out. It's great to get inverted. It's so rejuvenating. So this simple inversion, or you can do this against the wall as well, with the bolster under the hips. Couple more breaths. And bring one foot and then the other foot down. And I encourage you, if you are feeling fatigued or needing extra rest, to support yourself in this position against the wall. Legs up the wall for any amount of time, 20, 30 minutes. You can rest there. Feet as wide as the mat and knees resting together. So just feel the back of the pelvis in contact with the floor. Few more breaths. And then re-square the hips. And we'll just do some pelvic tilt. So lightly pressing feet and curling the back of the waist towards the floor. So just gently lifting tailbone up away from the floor. And then as you inhale, rock forward on the pelvis, lift the low back. Navel comes up and press the feet, curl tailbone under. And inhale, come forward. And exhale. And inhale, rock forward. And exhale, curl. So it's just like a gentle massage for the sacrum. It's very soothing to your nervous system. And if you do begin to incorporate headstands and shoulder stands into your practice, generally speaking, the headstands come before the shoulder stands. The headstands tend to be more stimulating, and shoulder stands more calming and activating the parasympathetic. And come back to center and just give yourself a hug. Knees into chest. And arms extending overhead. Extend the left leg out. Shift your hips a little to the right. We're just going to take a prone spinal twist. So right knee draws across the center of the body. Right arm extends. Left hand outside of right knee. And slowly come back through center, re-square your hips, and shift the hips to the left, extend the right leg, and left foot to top of right knee, and draw that left leg across your body. Right hand outside of right hand outside of left knee. So twisting second side, gaze over your left shoulder,